Welcome back to Talk Therapy channel on YouTube. I'm Tammy Fletcher, licensed marriage and family therapist in California, and today we're going to be talking about ways of coping when you've lost a pet. Many people who lose a pet may be first and foremost surprised at the intensity of their feelings of grief around this experience. This video is designed to answer any of your questions about pet loss and to give you some ideas of ways of coping with this experience in your life. Now, I'm speaking not only as a therapist, but as someone who lost her best friend 5 months ago, my black Great Dane named Sophia. She was a service dog, a therapy dog, and my best friend. She was 8.5 years old, which is very old for a Great Dane. Giant breeds typically don't live as long as other types of dogs. But still, her loss hit me and my family, and even some of my friends and clients who had met her, like a freight train. While I didn't find a lot of objective professional support, what I did find was that the experience of other pet owners who had experienced a loss helped me and my family more than anything. They didn't think we were crazy for grieving as hard as we did. They got it. They'd been there and they grieved right along with us. Not everyone will understand the pain that you're in after losing a pet, but that's all right because there are thousands of people that will. And besides this video, we're going to talk about pet loss, but I've also actually added a page onto my website, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. Let's first talk about what we as pet owners experience when we lose a beloved pet. The first question that typically comes up, and this is a big question that many of us have gone through, is how do you know when it's time? It seems quite often that pets will hang on at the end of their lives. We don't want to let them go, but we also don't want to see them suffer. I've heard that they hold on for us, and maybe this is true. I don't know. What I do know is that making the call to the vet when you've reached the point where you see that your pet is suffering and there's no hope of recovery is one of the hardest calls you ever have to make. If your pet is seriously ill, talk candidly with your veterinarian. Ask what your options are and describe what you're seeing on a day-to-day basis as far as your pet's quality of life. Basically, my understanding is this: if your pet is eating, eliminating, playing, attentive, still involved in their activities of daily life, and not in obvious pain, it's probably not time. However, if you're noticing that they're becoming lethargic, they're in pain, they have a disease from which they're either not responding or there's no chance of recovery from, if you're noticing those types of things, it's time to have a serious talk with your vet. Now, sometimes an animal is lost, they pass away due to an accident or an illness, a surgery they don't recover from, something like that. You may have not had to make the call to have the pet euthanized, but you're going to have the same feelings of bereavement, depression, sadness, denial, anger, and even guilt. You may be asking yourself, what could I have done? Did I make a wrong decision? Did I feed her the wrong food? There are all kinds of things that are going to be going through your head during this time. You may be wondering what you could have done to prevent the loss. These are normal reactions to the loss of someone that you love. Now, coming home after your pet has passed away to his or her leash and food bowls and bed and toys can be extremely painful. Think about what you need to do, how you need to cope with that. Talk to your family if they're sharing the home with you and see what you need to do. Perhaps you need to put them away for a while. Do what you need to do to sort of minimize that extremely painful time right after your pet has passed away. In our case, we put our dog's collar and tags away. We have another dog in the house, actually 2 other dogs now, and so nothing besides the collar and the tags were specifically hers. So the rest of the items around the house didn't pack the same emotional wallop as for some reason her collar did for me. A few months after she had died, I took the collar, I took the tags, I took a picture when she was a puppy and then when she was older, and I made sort of a shadow box and we put it on our family room wall. That was a step in our healing. But right at first, no. We had to put sort of the most intimate things that were connected with her away. Next, let's talk about children in the home and how you speak to them about the passing of a pet. As with any death, you don't want to use terms like she went away or he went to sleep. Those kinds of things confuse children, and what you want to do in this case is rely on age-appropriate but honest communication. Let them know if they have questions, that you're there to answer them for them. There are a couple of books out there on grieving and children. I don't have a lot of resources as far as grieving for a pet and children, but I know that they're out there, but there aren't very many of them. So basically, allow your child to grieve in his or her own way. Don't tell them that it's not okay to cry. Don't tell them to get over it, it was just a pet, even if it's their pet frog, that kind of thing. Children can feel things very deeply. It's important to let them process and know that you're a safe person that they can talk to and ask questions when they have them, especially about something as big as death. Now, if your pet is euthanized, a big decision is whether or not you will be there with the pet during the procedure. We were with Sophia. We didn't feel like there was a choice. We had to be there. I'm glad that we were there, but I can tell you that it's absolutely heartbreaking. It's a very difficult experience to go through. It is somewhat comforting to have seen her at the end at peace and pain-free, and I think as time goes by and we heal, that becomes more and more of a comfort. Now, if you do have the chance, most experts will recommend that you have your other pets, if you have any, present when one of your animals is euthanized. About 4 or 5 years ago, our orange tabby cat, Chester, passed away, and we had enough time to arrange for a vet that does nothing but euthanasia and hospice type care to come to our home. All of the pets were around, and Chester was able to pass over in his favorite sunny spot on the sofa. Each of the pets was able to come up and kind of sniff him and spend a little bit of time with his body when he had passed over. And they grieved, definitely, but they seemed to understand that he was gone because they were there. We did not have that same opportunity with Sophia. Things deteriorated so rapidly that we could not wait without her suffering longer. So unfortunately, I think at least one of our cats is still looking for her, and it's been 5 months. So if you can have your pets present, if you have a pet euthanized, let the other pets say goodbye. That can be a good thing, because they grieve too. The main thing I'd like you to take away from this video is that it's important to grieve in whatever way makes sense to you. We don't all grieve the same way. We don't all go through the process in an identical manner. Losing a pet is terribly painful. It's important to acknowledge your feelings, acknowledge the importance of this animal in your life, talk about it with people who get it and people who will provide you with support, and be extra gentle with yourself right now. When I was putting this video together, as always, I cast a very wide net of asking for feedback and ideas and stories from friends and colleagues and the general public. I could not have anticipated the responses that I got. I was going to put slides in this video like I did in the Healing Power of Pets video, and there was no way. The stories were absolute treasures. So what I've done is created a page on my website with the stories intact that people sent me. Some people sent me pictures. I anticipate that the page will grow, and I welcome your feedback. If you'd like a picture of your pet and the story of your pet who's passed on, send it to me. I'd be more than happy to add it to our growing list. This struck a nerve with a lot of people. There was a lot of unresolved grief. I think I was teary-eyed every day this week as I was reading people's stories and seeing their grief process, but also the incredible amount of love that their pets brought into their lives. So the link to that webpage is going to be below, and as always, I welcome your comments and suggestions on what it's been like for you if you've lost a pet, what helped you the most, and any suggestions that you have for people going through this same experience. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.